Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to jump into a classic fable that's just packed with drama, big decisions, and some really great English vocabulary. We're going to unpack the story of the town mouse and the country mouse.
But before we even get to the story, let's start with the huge question at its heart. Is a simple life, with all its peace and quiet, actually better than a rich, luxurious one that's full of excitement, but maybe also some danger? Just keep that question in the back of your mind as we go. All right, let's meet our heroes. First up, we've got the town mouse. Picture this. She's super sophisticated, lives in a giant mansion, and is all about that life of luxury. Then we have our cousin, the country mouse, who is just as happy as can be in her cozy little nest, loving the simple things. As you're about to see, these two could not be more different. So our story kicks off when the town mouse decides to pay her cousin a visit way out in the countryside. She's about to get a real, authentic taste of the simple life. Now, the country mouse is so proud to have her guest, and she serves up the absolute best she's got. So what's on the menu? Some hearty wheat stalks, earthy roots, and a few crunchy acorns, all washed down with some nice cold water. I mean, for the country, this is a real feast. And just in case you're not totally sure, acorns are those little nuts that fall from oak trees. They're a staple for a lot of animals in the woods, but as you can probably guess, this wasn't quite the fancy meal our town mouse was used to.
And yeah, this was definitely not her style. The town mouse just kind of nibbled a little bit here and there. She was really just eating to be polite,
And that's our first fantastic word, sparingly. When you do something sparingly, it means you only use or eat a tiny little bit of it. It's the perfect word to describe her delicate, and let's be honest, probably slightly judgy, little bites.
So after that, let's call it an interesting lunch, the conversation shifts, and this is where the whole story takes a sharp turn, all thanks to a very tempting offer from the city.
The town mouse starts painting this incredible picture of her life in the city. She's talking about non-stop feasts, all this excitement, all these comforts, and the country mouse is just listening, totally captivated. She even dreams about this amazing life that night. And this brings us to the most important word here, luxuries. These are all those wonderful, enjoyable things in life that you don't technically need, fancy food, beautiful houses, all the comforts. It's the promise of these luxuries that convinces the country mouse to pack her bags and head to the city with her cousin. And just like that, they're off. The country mouse is about to get the feast of her dreams, but it definitely comes with a few unexpected guests. And wow, what a sight! They get to the mansion and find the leftovers from this unbelievable banquet. We're talking sweetmeats and jellies, delicate little pastries, and the most delicious cheeses a mouse could ever dream of. It's everything the town mouse promised, and way, way more. The country mouse is just in absolute heaven. Her eyes lock onto this one perfect, dainty piece of pastry, and she's just about to take her very first bite of city food.
And that's another great word for us, dainties. Dainties are those small, fancy, delicious treats, like tiny cakes or fine chocolates, the absolute height of luxury for a mouse. But just as she leans in for that bite,
a terrifying sound just rips through the dining room. It's pure panic. A cat is at the door. The two of them just scramble in absolute terror, scurrying to the first hiding place they can find. Their hearts are pounding, and they're barely even breathing. They wait a minute. They think it's safe. They start to creep back out, and bam, the door swings open again. This time it's the servants coming in to clear the table, and right behind them is the huge house dog. The feast is officially 100% over. Well, that was all the excitement the country mouse needed for one lifetime. This whole terrifying experience pushes her to make a really big decision, and that's where we get the story's powerful moral.
Without missing a beat, she turns to her cousin and says, "You might have luxuries and dainties that I don't, but I prefer my plain food and simple life in the country with the peace and security that go with it." That right there, that's the whole point.
And that leads us right to the famous moral of the story. It's way better to have a little bit and feel safe than to have a whole lot while you're constantly living in fear. It's this timeless idea that really peace of mind is the greatest luxury you can have. Okay, so beyond that amazing life lesson, this fable also gives us a fantastic, super useful English expression for talking about choices. So let's break down how you can use it.
The expression is simply prefer something to something else. It's so simple but really powerful. You just start with the thing you like more. So for our mouse, that's security. Then you add the word to. And finally, you finish with the other option, luxury. So the country mouse prefers security to luxury. You can use this for anything. I prefer coffee to tea. Or maybe, he prefers watching movies at home to going to the theater. It's just a really clear, perfect way to state what you like better.
And that brings us full circle, right back to that first question, but now I'm asking you. After hearing the whole story, what do you prefer? A simple life that comes with security, or a life of luxury that comes with a lot of uncertainty? Definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this one.